Subscribe and click the bell icon for the latest updates and notifications from the Indian Express.
As Muslims in India were being systematically marginalized, othered, and even lynched, a number of writers emerged to document their own and the community's fears and anxieties. We spoke to authors like Nazia Iram, Rakshanda Jalil, and Shah Alam Khan, who have written books in the form of personal narratives and fiction, essentially talking about the Muslim identity and what it means to be a Muslim in India in these times of amplified communal polarization.
Right now, if you happen to be a man and you happen to have a beard and a topi, then life is very uncomfortable for you in the public domain. That we know for a fact. We know from the large numbers of lynchings that are happening, the large numbers of instances that we hear about othering, and not just very subtle or slight ones, but fairly overt ones of people shifting away from you on public transport, of people looking at you with suspicion, people refusing to give you housing in mixed neighborhoods. So all of this is not hidden from anybody.
This is 2019. Now, children born in 2000, they are the first time voters over here. But what is very unfortunate is that they have not seen the India in which I grew or you grew, or a lot of us have grown up, and that was the India which was very integrated. It was an innocent India, I would say. This was an India where you can celebrate Eid and Holi and Diwali and still have a lot of friends who are from different communities. A very inclusive India. I think that concept of India has been hurt very badly in the last 5 years.
Nazia Iram, a mother and a Muslim, deals with communal bullying and segregation of Muslim students in elite schools. In her book, Mothering a Muslim, she talks about how abuse and fear have taken over our classrooms, playgrounds, and houses.
Things have changed in the 5 years because of the kind of spotlight on the community. The spotlight in a bad way, in a negative light. So the children are increasingly being bullied with go to Pakistan, or do your parents make bombs? So these are happening in educational institutions. Teachers are sometimes the worst bullies, but kids have imbibed it too. It's, this is only a mirror of what's happening in the 10 p.m. bulletins. It's only being mirrored in 9 a.m. classrooms.
Rakshanda Jalil's book, You Don't Look Like a Muslim, that seeks to call out the elephant in the room, communalism, busts myths and stereotypes about Muslims, especially the ones that sees them as a monolith.
People also say that Muslims are humorless, that they are very touchy about their religion, they're very touchy about themselves. So I think one of the things that I bring up in this book is also an inward look. There are things, various things, the burqa for instance, which I personally find a very offensive garment, the all-encompassing black garment. I think it's a very uncomfortable thing to wear. And one of the things is also about this business of triple talaq. If only these were things that could have been settled within the community, by forums, by checks and balances within the community that would allow these things to come up for redressal rather than to be left to courts to decide.
Shah Alam Khan, a doctor by profession, wrote 2 books, Man with the White Beard on 1984 anti-Sikh and 2002 anti-Muslim riots, and Announcing the Monster, which is a collection of essays on polity, society, communalism, and health.
So actually what has happened in the last 5 years is that there has been a reinforcement of what was actually prevalent in this country for a very long time. In the 90s, in the late 90s, the early 90s, there was this neoliberalization which was unleashed on us. Now with neoliberalization, what happened that there's a huge middle class which grew up. The market was opened up, and when the middle class comes up, this is an aspirational class, and you see, and this is what has happened across the globe, that with neoliberal policies come the crisis of identity, and crisis of identity has to be kind of addressed in a way. And in India, it was addressed by the BJP through the politics of Hindutva, which is very unfortunate. And that is exactly where the start of the rise of the Hindutva politics started.
Muslims became a victim of mob attacks and lynchings in the name of the cow. There was also love jihad, or the allegation that Muslims were luring Hindu girls into their folds through love and marriage.
This has been kind of been going on for so long, but then it culminated in 2014 in a way that Muslims were kind of picked up from the lot, and there was a lot of segregation of Muslims. There was lynching, as we said. But again, this is very important to understand that lynching didn't happen with Muslims in the first place. It also happened with Dalits. So there was lynching in Kerlanji also. So the misery has been there, but misery has. This is a very kind of a commentary of miseries. So everybody is there. So all of the wretched of the earth, in this case, are involved, are part of that misery, are the victims of that misery.
Like many of us, the authors drew the toll that the politics of hate have taken on personal relationships.
So many friends we have lost. And it's not like over a war of words or an argument that you have. It just kind of fizzles out over the last 5 years, and you realize the space between that relationship was actually filled by this politics of hate. And these relationships today are collateral damages of politics of hate.
Social media does not define who you are. You are who you are by your own held beliefs. And I think times like this also tell you who your real friends are.
This happens because of more social interaction on the internet, for example, social media. So you are there in a WhatsApp group, you are there in a school group, and someone puts in a message, you just ignore that message because it's it's very provocating for you. Then another message, and you still ignore, and then you finally one day you react, and then they get offended, and you get offended, and then so we all have gone through that probably in the last maybe 5 or 7 years. And this is very unfortunate. But yes, we all lose friends, but some friends are probably to be lost. That's how I would say.
Now the result on May 23rd is being closely watched by 17.3 crore Muslims. There is unease, there is fear, but one hasn't given up hope.
The savior has been democracy. That's what I would say. So you still have the power to go out and vote and re-elect another one, some other political party, or change the regime. And besides that, democracy entitles you to certain rights of citizenry. So to believe in justice, to believe in court of law, I know it's a little difficult to say with lynching and with the kind of anti-minority program that the present regime had. It's very difficult to believe in this, but that is exactly what you need to believe in it.
Living together peacefully was the mantra that sustained this country for centuries. People would live in hamlets, in villages, in towns and cities under different emperors, under different regimes, under different kinds of dispensations, political, social, economic, but there would be a fair amount of amity. I'm only asking for that amity to be restored.
The fact that love and all-encompassing love is becoming a national narrative, that gives me hope. It is that narrative is fighting back, and that gives me hope, because as I keep saying, nafrat mazhab nahi dekhegi. Hindu, Sikh, Isai, Musliman, sabko, har bachche ko nagal legi. So we need to keep fighting against that, and I believe in India and I believe in Indians. We will fight back.